researched, more than 3 weeks of research, I might add, Kim Douglas, the wealthiest, the most powerful, and the happiest people in the world, and he came up with a formula for happiness, believe it or not, and everyone can follow this formula. Please welcome back the author of a book. It's called Me, We Do, Be, Dr. Randal Bell. We're so happy to have you back.
We are. You make us happy.
I'm happy to be here.
So we've talked about the cornerstones of success before in your previous visit. Essentially, you're saying success and happiness are all in the same. They're the same thing.
You know, they really are. Happiness and success, they're the same thing. I've met, when you think of happiness, a lot of people and success, you think of money. And I've met some very wealthy people that are very happy, and I've met some that are not so happy. There's really not a correlation. In my volunteer work, I've met people literally in prisons, homeless shelters. They're very happy because they're on a road to success. They're building their lives back. You got to respect that.
So what comes first then? The success leads to the happiness?
I think they're about the same thing. I think that we define our own happiness the same way we define our own success. We define that how it makes sense to us.
Sure.
So what then is the formula to happiness?
Yeah.
Well, social scientists have spent decades studying that very question, Debbie, and I'll tell you how it breaks down. 50% of our happiness is our DNA.
So we're born with it.
We're born with half our level of happiness. My mom said I was born smiling, so that's good stuff for me. But, you know, we all have bad days too. 10% of our happiness is our circumstances. That's happening to us. But here's the key. 40% of happiness are the activities we choose. So we got to really zero in on our activities. There are 4 types of activities. Believe it or not, me, we, do, be. Right. Me love is taking care of ourselves, meditation, prayer, nature walks, those kinds of things. We happiness is getting along with other people, resolving conflicts effectively, that kind of thing. Do happiness, you know, is that feeling you get after you do a really good job at something. That's do happiness. And be happiness is really what we're becoming, having goals, making progress. That's the formula for success.
Okay, so if it's an activity, it's something I can buy?
You know,
I mean, like, you know, I could buy some time on a nice yacht and sail right up next to Kim's yacht.
Would you?
Wave over and borrow some
If
caviar.
you're making that kind of money, if you're making that kind of money, we'd like to be happy with you. Just let us know.
You know, Mark, I'll just stay on that one. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it's a great way to be miserable.
Interesting.
That's a good point.
You know, actually, the research shows, and I surveyed 5,000 people around the world, that basically happiness is correlates to money up to a point of paying for your basic bills. After that, there's absolutely no statistical correlation between money and happiness.
Yeah, really. So it's just to be able to take care of yourself on the base level.
You talk to people that sleep under a bridge, and I have. They're not happy. But once you can pay your basic bills, you have nothing to complain about. You're statistically as likely to be as happy as a billionaire.
Oh my gosh, that's actually great news.
Yeah.
That is good news to know. But you say there are certain lies that we all tell ourselves, not all, but some people tell themselves, that really will interfere with your ability to be happy.
Yeah, Debbie, you know, just last Friday I was with survivors of the hurricane around Houston. And those people are rebuilding their lives. And the 2 great lies I hear all the time, the number one is that it can't happen to me. I didn't think this would ever happen to me. So we always have to be prepared and be healthy, be fulfilled, because when crises come, we're better able to deflect them, if you know what I mean. The other great lie is there's no hope. You know, what do? My house has been smashed. You know, this horrible thing has happened. There is always hope. I've looked into the eyes of men and women in homeless shelters. They've rebuilt their lives. There's always hope. There's always hope.
Yeah, I have a question actually for you. I think my DNA is good. I'm happy, like, as a person, but I do find, and more recently than even before, I put my happiness on external factors, whether it's a boyfriend, or if I have a boyfriend, my house, my dogs, my clothes, my body. You know, I get it on the scale and it's 2 pounds heavier. I'm mad all day.
But you're not alone. So many women do that.
Yeah, and how do you if that's your default to give it that power to other people, how do you take that back?
It's all in the book, but it's in the me cornerstone. We have to align what we know logically, what we feel spiritually, and what we believe philosophically. When you have harmony in those three things, you take it back, you take the power back to yourself. Don't give it to other people. That's where happiness starts, is with the me cornerstone. Then you can then associate with healthy people, the we cornerstone, do and be, but it starts with the me cornerstone, those three elements.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Paige?
I want to know how important. Kim had said what she was thankful for this past year, and she said being settled or grounded in her new house and where her life was. I don't feel like I have that, and the fact that it's only 10% of that pie of happiness seems wild to me. Because I feel like it's taking up 90% because I'm not happy where I am. I don't feel settled. Like, how important is where you live or
your roots?
Yes.
You know.
I think me, we, do, be is all about balance. And there are going to be times where we are unhappy. I've been unhappy. I mean, even though I was born happy, you know, we all go through these seasons. So we want to kind of take it in kind of context. Don't be too hard on ourselves. We're going to have seasons where we're unhappy. There's nothing wrong with that. That is A-okay. Just realize that you need a B cornerstone. You need a plan to get to where you want to be, and take it at a pace, day-to-day effort. You can't take on all the problems in the future all at once. You got to take it at a pace, sensible day-to-day effort.
We just had a guest on that was talking about through a valuable lesson, struggling with his father's relationship. He said he learned to be okay with not being okay.
Right.
And I'm wondering, because happiness can be fleeting, and I'm generally a happy person, but sometimes I'm like, I'm not okay today, and then I don't feel I want to be happy, but how do you feel about like you talked about the balance, just being okay, like today it's okay not to be happy?
Well, you know, happiness is about one day at a time.
Right.
We don't want to take on all of life at once, because then we feel overwhelmed.
Right.
When we feel overwhelmed, then we get anxiety and we're unhappy. Just worry about today primarily. Have some plans for the future, but integrate that into with your today. And, you know, bad stuff's going to happen. That's okay too. Just take it a day at a time.
And when you say happy, you mean like a pretty decent baseline. You're not talking about jubilant, jumping through the air, kicking your heels every 2 seconds. I mean, I think we're happy, but I'm not always like, woohoo! But that's what you mean. Like,
you are. You actually are.
if I've had coffee, I'm like,
That would be a little weird.
right. That's what you mean, correct? Like baseline, you wake up, you say, okay, life is good.
You know,
I'm breathing, I'm healthy, life is okay.
They did a study, and people that won the lotto compared to people that had horrible accidents, and in both sets of categories, people returned to their baseline. What's more important than these valleys and these peaks is to return to the baseline and do things in terms of our activities that maybe raise the baseline a little bit. But don't worry about the peaks, and don't overdo it on the peaks of the valleys. Just kind of even it out.
Yeah.
You know what?
She pulls up, gets out of her car, and pixie dust flies everywhere. And she's kicking her heels together, and she goes, look at me, I'm happy.
I'm like, we're Mary Tyler Moore with the hat.
More information about me, we, do, be by going to hallmarkchannel.com and visit Dr. Bell's website. This is a fabulous book.
That was great.
Wonderful, and you'll be happy.
You will be happy.